Hey everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet a granny stitch bandana for your dog, cat, or pet. It's a very simple pattern and easy to adjust to larger and smaller sizes, and I'll explain that to you when we get a little farther on in the video. Now this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you're going to need to make one of these granny stitch bandanas for your dog, cat, or pet is some worsted weight number 4 or medium weight number 4 yarns. You can use solids, stripes, variegated. You can use 1, 2, 3, or 4, however many colors that you want to. You could even stripe it if you want to on your own. It doesn't matter. Cotton is great too, and cotton blends. They all work great as long as it's a medium number 4 yarn. This one is stitched with the Red Heart Super Saver stripes. You can see it's variegated in the stripes. And I added this little purple flower to match because this one is for Rosie. Now the one I'm going to show you for our demonstration today is going to be for Maximo, and I'm going to use this color. It's called Jade. It's by Bernat, and it is a worsted weight number 4, 100% acrylic yarn, and it's just some yarn that I had on hand, and I think it's going to look really cute for a bandana for Maximo. We're going to be stitching with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in those ends, and of course a pair of scissors. We're going to begin by making a chain for the top, and then we'll work our way down, decreasing the amount of 3 double crochet clusters as we go down. If you stitch this pattern exactly like the pattern's written, you'll get a bandana for about an 8 to 12 inch dog neck, and that'll fit about a 5 to 10 pound dog. Now, if you want to make it smaller, you'll need to subtract 4 chains per inch. And if you want to make your bandana bigger, you'll need to add 4 chains per inch bigger. And that's how you adjust it, because we need 3 chains for the 3 double crochets and a skip, and I'll explain that as we go along. So to make the bandana for an 8 to 12 inch neck or 5 to 10 pound dog, we're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 33 chains. And again, subtract 4 chains per inch to make it smaller, and add 4 chains per inch to make it bigger. I'm going to be chaining 33 chains. I've chained my 33 chains. We're going to begin by placing a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. These first 3 chains will count as our first double crochet. So we'll yarn over, go in the 4th chain, and stitch a double crochet. Then we're going to stitch a double crochet in the next chain. Yarn over, go in the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. So our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. Then we stitch 2 more. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip this next chain, and then we're going to chain 1 double crochet in the next 3. Then we'll chain 1 and repeat, working all the way across our chain. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet in the next 3. We will continue to repeat this all the way across this chain. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet in the next 3. I've completed this row. I have 8 clusters of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now for row 2, we're going to skip these 3 double crochets and go right to the chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space. And then we'll chain 1. And we'll repeat this all the way across, placing 3 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces. Three double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. There's 3 and chain 1. And then we'll repeat this across, chain 1, 3 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces. I've placed 3 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces with a chain 1 in between. And when we get to the last chain 1 space, we chain 1 and turn. And you'll notice that now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 3 double crochet clusters with a chain 1 in between. And that's how we decrease each row. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to repeat what we did on row 2. We're only going to have 1 less chain 1 space. So we'll place 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 1 and go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. And chain 1. And again, we'll do this all the way across, just placing 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space and chain 1 in between. And we'll continue this in these last 2 chain 1 spaces. I've completed those last 2, and so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets or clusters of 3 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. We've stitched in this last chain 1 our 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and I think now you're starting to see how the pattern works. We're going to go right to the next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets and chain 1. 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space and chain 1. And again, we'll repeat this all the way across, and again you'll notice we'll have 1 less cluster. I've completed this row. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters now. I'm in that last chain 1 space, chain 1 and turn. And we're going to continue to do this until we only have 2 clusters left. 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, chain 1, and repeat across, chain 1 and turn, and we'll continue this pattern of decreasing until we only have 2 clusters left. There's my last 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space, chain 1 and turn, and we'll continue to repeat this pattern until we only have 2 clusters left. And this is the same for all sizes. If you started smaller, you're going to reach those 2 clusters sooner. And if you started with a bigger one, it'll take you a little longer to get down to only having 2 clusters left. I've continued to repeat my rows, 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space and chain 1 in between till I'm down to just 2 clusters. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to place 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. That's our last cluster. Then we're going to join to the second double crochet of this cluster from the previous row. So we'll go to the top of that middle double crochet and we'll join with the slip stitch, and then we'll tie off. Alright, I'm going to pull my string to the back and then we'll weave that in just a little bit later. And it's up to you which side is your front of your bandana or which is the back. It's kind of up to you what you like best. And remember, if you made your bandana smaller, you're going to have less rows. If you made your bandana bigger, you're going to have more rows till you reach that last cluster. Now we need to make the ties that go on the top of the bandana. So I'm going to make a slip knot and I'm going to chain 20 chains, and this will be the first tie on the one side. There's 10, 15, whoops, get back in there, there we go. Alright, now this is going to be the first tie on this side. And one thing to keep in mind is you do not want to make your ties real long. You want to make them long enough so that you can tie them in a knot, and I'll show you how to do that a little later. But you don't want them to have a long tie that's going to get caught in their toenails or in their teeth. Alright, so once you've done your 20 chains, we're going to join to the top right side with the front facing out, whichever side you've chosen to be the front of your bandana. So we'll go right to the first double crochet and stitch a single crochet. And then we'll stitch a single crochet in the next 2. We'll stitch a single crochet in that chain 1 space, and then we'll repeat this working across the top of our bandana. We'll stitch 1 double crochet in each of the 3 double crochets. Then we'll stitch 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. And we'll do this all the way across the top of our bandana. I finished single crocheting across the top of my bandana, stitching 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets with a single crochet in between in the chain 1 space. And now I'm going to chain. If you added or subtracted chains for your initial chain tie, make sure that you stitch the same number of chains on this side because that's your other tie. I did 20, so I'm going to do 20 again. And then I'm going to do 1 more, and that's our turning chain. Alright, so I'm going to turn. I'm going to place a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. And we're going to place a single crochet in each of the chains, working back to the bandana. So 1 single crochet in each of the 20 chains, because remember, we did an extra chain as our turning chain. I've single crocheted in those 20 chains, and now I'm back to the top of the bandana, and we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of those single crochets across the top of the bandana, and then we're going to place a single crochet in each of the chains of the tie that's on the other side. So 1 single crochet in each single crochet across the top of the bandana, and then 1 single crochet in the 20 chains on the other tie of our bandana. So you can see that I have single crocheted all the way across this tie, all the way across the top, and then all the way across the other tie. And all we're going to do now is we're going to chain 1 and turn and just do another row of single crochet so we have a nice sturdy tie and a nice sturdy band on the top of our bandana. So just place 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across. We're going across both the ties and the top of our bandana. I finished that last row of single crochet all the way across the tie, across the top of the bandana, and then across the second tie. And now we're finished. So I'm going to cut my yarn and tie off. And you'll need to weave in the ends. I've already weaved this end in. And you just need to get that needle and weave that end in. Now, it's up to you how you want to embellish this. You can add buttons, ribbons, bows, flowers. Just keep in mind, if your dog is a dog that likes to chew, I wouldn't use any buttons or bells or things that they can pull off, or even things that are not attached tightly that they might pull off and chew on. So keep that in mind. Now, what I do with mine is I put it on my dog and I go ahead and just tie a knot like this. I don't tie a bow, I don't tie, anything fancy. I just want it to stay put, and I don't want the ties to be very long. And like I said earlier, you don't want these ties to get caught in their teeth or in their toenails. All right, and so what I do is I go ahead and tie it, and it's set to their neck measurement. And again, this goes on over their collar, and all you do is just slide it on their neck, and it's ready to be worn. And these are super fun to make in school colors. They're super fun to make in your favorite sports team colors. Any colors that you want, any yarns that you want, as long as they're a medium number 4. And of course, you can embellish them however you like.